Hi, boys and girls. The story that we're going to read this week is an informational fiction story. Informational fiction tells a make-believe story, but it also gives facts and information. The next story is a mystery about trees and how they grow where they do. Our story is called Dot and Jabber and the Great Acorn Mystery. Did you notice that symbol in the title that looks like this? If you haven't seen that before, that symbol means the word and. So the title reads Dot and Jabber. So just in case you didn't know what that was, I wanted to clarify that. Our story is written by Ellen Stoll Wash. The question of the week that goes along with the story is, how do we solve mysteries? And if you remember, a mystery is something that we do not know the answer to yet. We have to use the clues to try to figure out what is the answer to the mystery. So I hope you enjoyed the story, and make sure you touch the words on your screen as you follow along with me reading. The detectives had nothing to do. "We need a mystery to solve," said Jabber. "Here's a mystery," said Dot. "What is this little oak tree doing here?" "Why is that a mystery?" Jabber wanted to know. "Because of the acorn," said Dot. "How did it get here?" "Dot," said Jabber, "what acorn?" "Acorns are oak tree seeds. This little oak tree grew from an acorn, and acorns come from big oak trees." "Oh, that acorn," said Jabber. "But where's the big oak tree?" "That's part of the mystery," said Dot. "Let's look for clues." "Okay," shouted Jabber, "because we're detectives." He poked his head into a hole. Can you see him poking his head into the hole right there, boys and girls? Made him go upside down, huh? "Hey, this is my hole," said a mole. "Go away. There are no clues down here. Try the big oak tree on the other side of the meadow." "Of course," said Dot. "Come on, Jabber." "That's a long, long way," said Jabber. "How did our acorn get from there to here? Do you think it walked?" "Let's find out," said Dot. "The acorn began at the big oak tree. So will we." The detectives set off across the meadow. After a while, Jabber said, "I'm tired. Can we wonder about all these maple seeds instead?" "There's no mystery in maple seeds," said Dot. "They have wings that twirl, and they ride the wind across the meadow." "Maybe our acorn rode the wind too," said Jabber. That is what we are going to find out, said Dot. At last, they arrived at the big oak tree. Look, said Dot. I bet there are 1,000,000 acorns here. But they don't have wings, said Jabber. But they taste good. Don't eat them, Jabber. They are clues. So can you see all of the acorns down here and see the ones that Jabber has in his hands? Yep, I think he's ready for a snack. Acorns don't have wings, but they might have sneaky feet, said Dot. Let's keep watch and see if they start to move. Plip, an acorn dropped from the big oak tree. Jabber poked it with a stick. This acorn isn't going anywhere, he said. None of them are. A squirrel came and sat down among the acorns. Jabber, look, Dot whispered. What is he doing? Oh, gasped Jabber. He's eating our clue. He can't be, said Dot. The shell is still on it. So here's the squirrel picking up the acorn. So why is he stuffing it in his mouth? Asked Jabber. The squirrel ran off. Oh no! He's stealing the acorn! The detectives cried and ran after him. When the squirrel stopped, they stopped and watched to see what would happen next. What's he doing now? Asked Jabber. Digging a hole. Look, he's hiding the acorn. Jabber stared at Dot. Maybe he's planting it. Of course, said Dot. Our acorn crossed the meadow on squirrel feet and got planted by squirrel feet, said Jabber, and grew into the little oak tree, said Dot. The mystery is solved. We are two clever mouse detectives. Hooray! Shouted Jabber. Now what will we do? Find another mystery, said Dot. But I'm hungry, said Jabber. First, let's go eat some of those leftover clues. Okay, I hope you enjoyed our story, boys and girls. Now, let's think about the questions that I'm going to ask you to see if you remembered what you read. So you need to either have out your writing notebook or a separate piece of paper so that you can answer the questions on it. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video whenever you need to stop to write your answers down. Then you can start the video again when you're ready for the next question. So on your paper, please write a number 1. Okay, here is your question, so get ready to think about it. What skills do detectives need to solve a mystery? I'll read it again. What skills do detectives need to solve a mystery? So the skills are what kind of things do they need to be able to do would be a skill. Do they need to be able to search for things? Do they need to be able to write things down? So what kind of skills do the detectives need to solve a mystery? Okay, pause the video and write your answer for number 1. Number 2. Why do you think the author chose to write about this mystery? So what was the author's purpose in writing the story? So the question says, why do you think the author chose to write about this mystery? So why did the author write this story? So pause the video so that you can do number 2 on your paper. And when you're ready, start the video again to be ready for number 3. Okay, number 3. How are acorns different from maple tree seeds? I'll read it one more time. How are acorns different from maple tree seeds? Now, when we went on our field trip at the very beginning of the school year, when we went to the Nature Center, we talked about different kinds of seeds. And the maple tree seed reminded me of those helicopter seeds that we learned about. So think about how acorns are different from the maple tree seeds, from the helicopter seeds. So pause the video, write down your answers for number 3, and then when you're ready to start again for number 4, start the video over, or start it again. Okay, number 4. Did you reread parts of the story? Now, you probably did not reread parts of the story because we were reading it together. But that is something that you can do when you're reading, is to go back over and reread parts of the story so that it helps you understand it. Okay, the next part of that question says, how did that help you understand it? Well, you don't need to answer that part on your paper because, like I said, you probably didn't reread parts of the story. But the next question is something that you can answer. What do you know about trees and seeds that helped you understand? So I'll read this part. So I only want you to answer this last question for number 4. What do you know about trees and seeds that helped you understand? So what information did you know about trees and seeds that helped you to understand the story? So pause the video, only answer that last question for number 4, and then start it again when you're ready for number 5. Okay, number 5, look back and write. So if you need to go back into the video to hear it again, to look back in the story, you go right ahead. They're asking you to look back at page 108. And that's the page, you may not be able to see the page numbers, but that is the page that's about the maple seeds. So how do maple seeds move around? Write about it. Use evidence from the story. So think about how the maple seeds, or like I said, they're kind of like those helicopter seeds that we've seen before. Think about how they move around and tell us about it. And if there's something from the story that you can write about those maple seeds, add that too. Okay, boys and girls, do a really good job answering your questions. And that's it. So have a great day.